5 European countries are publicly paying you to move there in 2026. Cash grants, subsidised housing, renovation funds. Every YouTube channel covering this reads it like a holiday brochure. I ran each one through the Borderless Score. 6 factors, 60 points, no opinions. 3 fail, 2 pass. And the most famous one is the worst deal here. Let's go. Methodology. At Borderless Living, we don't deal in opinions, we deal in pillars. Cost efficiency, tax environment, visa accessibility, healthcare, lifestyle, and long-term wealth building. 6 factors, 10 points each, 60 total. Above 40, it passes. Below 40, it's a brochure with a budget. Full framework is in earlier videos. Let's begin. Country 5, Italy, €1. Homes. First up, Italy. The famous €1 home program. Over 50 municipalities across Sicily, Sardinia, Calabria, Puglia. Headline price, €1. About what you'd pay for a stale cornetto. Reality? Somewhere between €80,000 and €120,000 all in. Cost efficiency, 3 out of 10. The euro is a doorbell, not a price. Real all-in cost is a standard European renovation. Tax environment, 4 out of 10. Italy's top progressive rate is 43%. The 7% southern flat tax regime exists separately. It doesn't apply here. Visa accessibility, 2 out of 10. Owning the property grants you nothing. Non-EU buyers still need Italy's elective residency visa, which prohibits any work, even remote. Healthcare, 6 out of 10. Italian healthcare is solid in cities. In depopulated southern villages, less so. Lifestyle, 5 out of 10. Charming on Instagram, limited infrastructure on the ground. Long-term wealth building, 3 out of 10. Property in dying villages has no exit story. Final Borderless Score, 23 out of 60. Italy fails. Country 4, Greece, Antikythera. Now Antikythera, a Greek island between Crete and the Peloponnese. Population, 24. 40 in summer, if the ferries cooperate. 5 families get a house, land, and €500 a month for 3 years. €18,000 total. On paper, idyllic. Cost efficiency, 4 out of 10. €500 a month covers the basics on a remote island with no economy. Nothing more. Tax environment, 4 out of 10. Standard Greek progressive, 44% at the top. No special regime attached. Visa accessibility, 2 out of 10. 5 families, by interview. Greek and EU preferred. Pipeline is stuck. No families have moved in yet. Healthcare, 1 out of 10. No hospital. Nearest one is a 2 to 3 hour ferry to Kythera, weather permitting. Lifestyle, 4 out of 10. Stunning if you want isolation, brutal if you want anything else. Long-term wealth building, 3 out of 10. No economy, no appreciation, no exit. Final Borderless Score, 18 out of 60. Greece fails. Country 3, Ireland, Our Living Islands. Ireland's Our Living Islands programme, up to €84,000 to refurbish a derelict property on 30 offshore islands. Inishmore, Bear, Arranmore, Clare. The highest headline figure on this list. Cost efficiency, 5 out of 10. It's reimbursement, not a grant. You front the renovation. Ireland pays you back. Eventually. On offshore islands, overruns of 30 to 50% are basically the house rule. Tax environment, 6 out of 10. Moderate by EU standards, 20% up to about €42,000, then 40 above, plus PRSI and USC. Visa accessibility, 4 out of 10. You need Irish residency. Non-EU nationals qualify independently via critical skills permit or stamp 0. Healthcare, 7 out of 10. Strong national system. Island access can be limited. Lifestyle, 6 out of 10. English-speaking, EU, beautiful, but truly remote island life isn't for everyone. Long-term wealth building, 6 out of 10. The islands themselves don't appreciate much. Ireland's broader ecosystem, corporate structures, ETF wrappers, has real upside for residents. Final Borderless Score, 34 out of 60. That's not a pass. It's a proceed with caution, and only for a narrow profile. If you find this kind of structured analysis useful, subscribing means you'll get every future Borderless Score ranking the moment it drops. Country 2, Spain, Extremadura plus Beckham's Law. Now Spain, where two pieces nobody else connects do the work. An Extremadura grant, and a tax regime named after a footballer. Cost efficiency, 8 out of 10. Up to €15,000 from the grant. Extremadura is one of Spain's lowest cost regions, covers a real chunk. Tax environment, 9 out of 10. Beckham's Law, yes, that Beckham, caps Spanish income tax at 24% on the first €600,000 of Spanish-sourced earnings for 6 years. Foreign passive income exempt. No Modelo 720. Visa accessibility, 7 out of 10. Digital Nomad visa, non-lucrative visa. The 5-year non-residency clause excludes some, but works for most remote workers. Healthcare, 8 out of 10. Top 10 globally. Lifestyle, 7 out of 10. Mediterranean climate, high-speed rail, established expat infrastructure. Extremadura itself is rural by design. Long-term wealth building, 5 out of 10. The Beckham window is just 6 years. After that, full Spanish tax. Final Borderless Score, 44 out of 60. Spain passes. Country 1, Switzerland, Albinen. And finally, Switzerland. Albinen, in the canton of Valais. Up to 70,000 Swiss francs for a family of 4, about €73,000. But first, the wall. Albinen requires Swiss citizenship or Permit C, about 10 years of prior Swiss residence for non-EU nationals. We're scoring for those who already qualify. Cost efficiency, 5 out of 10. €73,000 is real money. Swiss cost of living is the highest in Europe. Tax environment, 10 out of 10. Zero capital gains on privately held assets. Valais wealth tax among Switzerland's lowest. Best in class. Visa accessibility, 1 out of 10. The Permit C wall. Essentially closed to anyone outside Switzerland. Healthcare, 10 out of 10. Highest ranked healthcare in Europe year after year. Lifestyle, 9 out of 10. Alpine beauty plus Swiss infrastructure. The Valais contractor rule is a quirk, not a deal breaker. Long-term wealth building, 10 out of 10. Global benchmark for currency stability, property rights, and banking. Final Borderless Score, 45 out of 60, the highest raw score here. But that 45 only applies if you already hold Permit C. For everyone else, visa scores 0, and the practical total drops below 35. That's why the verdict is conditional. Strongest math, narrowest gate in Europe. Verdict: 3 failed, 2 passed. Italy 23, Greece 18. Straight fails, no debate. Ireland 34, proceed with caution. Spain 44, widest gate. Switzerland 45, strongest math, narrowest gate. Different walls, different winners. Different audiences entirely. Before you commit to any of these, score your destination yourself. The free Borderless Score personal card is in the description. 4 pages, 6 pillars, 10 minutes. You'll know in one sit-down whether a country actually fits your numbers. And if you want to see countries that pass cleanly, no walls, no asterisks, watch our 5-country retirement comparison next. Portugal, Malaysia, Paraguay, Georgia, and Panama all scored on the same framework. Move smarter, live wealthier, go borderless.